Hey friends, I have an amazing one for you today. In this episode, I'm going to tell you the 5 things you can do to get your credit score to excellent. Wondering why this is important? Well, then you really need to listen to this one. You are going to absolutely love it. Welcome to the Immigrant to Millionaire podcast. This is where we study what the wealthiest and most successful people do. Why? Well, because success leaves clues. Not only do we study these successful people, we implement what we learn so that we create the life we want and deserve. My name is Joy Roland, your host. I'm an immigrant that implemented the knowledge I learned from great men and women and became a millionaire in 3 years of arriving in Canada. It's now my mission to share my knowledge with as many people as possible. Pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea. This is going to be fun. Well, hello, my lovely friend. Welcome to episode 3 of the Immigrant to Millionaire podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5 things you need to do to get your credit score to excellent. But before we dive in, I just want to let you know that I have some spots open in my calendar. You can book a 1 hour session with me so I can help you build a custom plan that takes into account your current financial situation. At the end of this 1 hour, you'll know exactly what you should be focusing on to build your empire. Spots fill up quickly, so go ahead and book now. The link to book will be in the show notes. Okay, let's dive in. Let me teach you how to get your credit score to excellent. Now, when I first arrived, I had no clue what credit score or credit ratings were. My assumption was that I shouldn't spend money I don't have, so I thought, well, getting a debit card was fine. As you could guess, I was so wrong, and I spent more than 2 years without a credit history. Now, in order to build a credit history, you need to have credit. Like you need to borrow money. That's what credit means. You need to borrow money. Well, why is building credit important? Like, why should you borrow money to build credit? Well, because here in the UK, Canada, and US, to build wealth, you almost always have to use other people's money. So let me give you an example. If you wanted to buy a detached property, you need at least 1.5 million. In fact, in the past 2 months, it's been 1.8 million, right, here in Canada. Now, if you were to pay for that house using cash, how many years do you think it's going to take you to save that amount of money? Right? 1.7 million. Okay, let's say 10 years. Like you decide, okay, I'm going to save for 10 years to buy my property using cash. Well, in 10 years' time, do you actually think that that property will be worth 1.7 million? No, it's going to cost you almost double 10 years from now. So you see why using other people's money, i.e., the banks, to build your wealth makes so much sense. So if you could get a mortgage for the 1.7 million property, um, imagine the equity you would have built in 10 years' time, and all of that equity belongs to you. Like, so amazing. I know. So before I teach you how to improve your credit score and get it to excellent, let me explain what a credit score is for those who are brand new to either Canada, the US, or the UK. A credit score or credit rating is a 3 digit number that represents how credit worthy you are. Now, this tells how likely it is for you to repay your debt. When you apply for a loan, for example, the bank can look up your credit score and get a pretty good idea of how likely it is for you to repay any debt. So they can see how you've managed your financial obligations in the past, like paying your bills on time, paying back loans on schedule. And this credit score is actually included in your credit report. And your credit report tells you more details about your credit history. Now, the credit score itself typically ranges from 300 to 900 points. Now, the higher your points, the better it is for you. Scores above 725 are considered very good, and scores above 760 are considered excellent. Now, if you have a low score, it will be very hard for you to get approved for a loan, a mortgage, or a credit card. Now, my goal is to help you get your credit score to 760 and above. Now, next question. Where can you find your credit score? Well, there are three top credit bureaus. They are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. These are private companies that collect and sell your credit information to lenders. Now, this information is found on your credit reports, and this is what determines your credit score. You can get your credit report for free if you're in Canada. If you're in the US or the UK, I think you might have to pay to get your credit report. Go straight to Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian, and you can see what it costs to retrieve your credit report. Now, how is the credit score calculated? There are five main things that credit bureaus look at to determine your credit score. The first one is your payment history. Now, this includes whether you generally pay your bills on time, if you have had to deal with a collections agency in the past, or if you have declared bankruptcy. The second thing that determines your credit score is your usage of credit. Now, the rule of thumb here is to avoid using more than 25% of your available credit, right? So, for example, if your credit limit was 100,000, for example, 25% of 100,000 is 25,000, right? So you cannot go above, well, you shouldn't spend above 25% of what you're eligible for in your credit. The next determining factor of what your credit score is the length and type of credit. The longer you've had accounts in good standing, the better you look to lenders. Now, having a number of different types of credit, like for example, credit card, a loan, a mortgage, or a line of credit, having all of these different types can actually improve your credit score. So instead of just having one type, excuse me, just one type credit card, it's best to have a variety. Now, number four is the number of requests that have been made. The number of times your credit report has been requested actually translates to the number of products you've applied for. So, this is why it's actually a red flag if there are too many requests made on your credit history in a very short period of time. But don't worry, requesting your own credit score doesn't affect your credit score. So, this is what we call a soft check. There's a difference between a hard check and a soft check. A hard check negatively affects your credit score, and these are checks that banks or lenders actually do on your credit history, right? But a soft check, on the other hand, has no impact on your credit score. So, for example, an example of a soft check is if you yourself request your credit score. Now, the last point for you to note that contributes to your credit score is inquiries and frequently applying for credit. These happen every single time you agree to a hard check, right? So if you were opening a checking account, for example, or maybe you were getting a new phone, you want a new phone plan, or you're applying for new credit, all of that will negatively affect your credit score. Okay, let's go to the five tips for improving your credit score. Now, because you don't see your credit score and it's being created by someone else, it's easy to pretend like we have no control over our credit score. But that is wrong. Based on our behaviors, it's absolutely possible to improve your credit score. You can't change it instantly, but over time, it begins to influence your credit score positively. Here are some steps you can take to get to excellent level. The first one, request a free copy of your report. It's very important to check your credit report as it is today, because if you don't know what you need to improve, then you're just flying blind. You can request a free credit report from Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian. If you, like I said, if you're in the UK or the US, you might need to pay, but in Canada, you can get it for free. Number two, make your payments on time every single month. Your payment history is an important part of your credit score. The longer you go without missing a payment, the better your score gets over time. Now, if you struggle to pay your bills on time, like if you forget, you can think of setting up automatic payments, especially when you have recurring bills like for your electricity, your gas, and your water. All of those is best to set them up as automatic payments so you never miss a payment. Step number three is to keep your credit card balances as low as possible. Ideally, you should pay off your credit card every single month. So before you spend anything on your credit card, make sure you have that money sitting in either your savings account or your checking account so that before the end of the month, I usually just say within 15 days, you should clear out that credit on your credit card so that your credit card gets to zero. So, if you keep a very low balance on your credit card, it tells the lenders that you are a very responsible spender, right? Now, step number four is do not cancel your credit cards. Now, I know it might be tempting to say, well, I've paid off my credit card. Can I just cancel the card? No, 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 my friend. If you cancel that credit card, then all of the history you've built just goes to zero. So even if you're not using a credit card, just keep the credit card as it is so that lenders can see all of the history you've built up. Now, step number five, don't apply for too many loans or cards at one time. Applying for too many products in a very short period of time is flagged as risky behaviors by banks and financial institutions. They just see, oh, you are a very risky lender. Why are you in financial trouble? Why are you applying for so many credit cards in a given period of time? So those are the five ways for you to actually get your credit score to excellent. Now, grab 1 hour in my calendar. If you're struggling with building your credit, I can help you. I can help you come up with a custom plan so that you're on your way to building wealth. If you struggle to pay your debt, or maybe you're drowning in debt, you have student loans, you have car loans, you have credit card balances, you need to get on my calendar as soon as possible. Again, spots fill up very quickly, so go grab a spot now. The link to that is in the description below in the show notes. I hope you've learned something new today, and I hope you're on your way to creating an excellent credit score. Why is this important? Because you will get access to more products. You'll get access to better rates when you go for mortgages, whether for your first property or for investment properties. So, my friend, if this podcast encouraged, inspired, or taught you something new, please do me a huge favor by leaving me a review. Just go to Apple Podcasts, find the show, go to the main page where you see a list of all of the episodes, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the list, and write me a review. This will let me know that all of the hard work I've poured into making this podcast is worth something. I'd also love for you to share this with your friend who could use all of the free value I provide on this podcast. I'll be forever grateful. I believe in good karma, and I know that when you do good things will come back to you 10 times. And lastly, come on over to my Facebook community to get support as you build your empire. This is an exclusive group of high-achieving and ambitious people actively working on getting wealthy. Find the link to the group in the show notes, my friend. I hope to see you back here soon. God bless you.